In the 19th century, British India was a massive empire, stretching across what is now India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. It brought together many cultures, languages, and religions under one colonial rule. By the early 20th century, nationalist movements were growing stronger. Hindu leaders like Gandhi and Nehru called for independence, while the Muslim League, led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, pushed for Muslim rights and representation. After World War II, Britain was exhausted. It could no longer control India. In 1947, it announced plans to leave the subcontinent. On August 15, 1947, British India was divided into two independent nations. The regions with a Muslim majority became Pakistan. The areas with a Hindu majority became India. Pakistan was divided into two parts, West Pakistan and East Pakistan, separated by nearly 1,500 kilometers of Indian territory. With the stroke of a pen, millions of families suddenly found themselves on the wrong side of a new border. Fearing persecution and isolation, many fled their homes. Hindus and Sikhs moved toward India. Muslims crossed in the other direction, heading for Pakistan. This massive migration, driven by fear, confusion, and chaos, would soon erupt into one of the deadliest humanitarian crises of the 20th century. Between 12 and 20 million people crossed the new borders. Up to 2 million were killed in ethnic and religious violence. After the Partition of India, the princely states were given a choice: to join India, Pakistan, or stay independent. One of these states was Jammu and Kashmir, a Muslim-majority region ruled by a Hindu king. The ruler chose to remain independent. In October 1947, armed tribal militias from Pakistan crossed into Kashmir, aiming to support a local uprising and bring the region under Pakistani control. Facing an invasion, the Maharaja of Kashmir requested help from India. In return, he signed an agreement to join the Indian Union. Indian troops were quickly airlifted into the region. Fighting broke out between Indian and Pakistani forces, marking the start of the First Indo-Pakistani War. The conflict lasted more than a year. Thousands were killed on both sides. In 1949, a ceasefire was negotiated by the United Nations. A new border, called the Line of Control, was drawn, dividing Kashmir into two parts. In 1965, tensions over Kashmir flared up once again. Pakistan launched Operation Gibraltar, a covert mission to send troops disguised as civilians into Indian-controlled Kashmir. The goal was to trigger an uprising among local Muslims and weaken India's hold on the region. But the plan didn't work. Instead of sparking a rebellion, it led to full-scale war. India responded with a major military offensive. Within days, fierce battles broke out along the international border, not just in Kashmir, but also in Punjab and Rajasthan. Both sides suffered heavy losses. Tanks, aircraft, and thousands of troops were involved. After 3 weeks of intense fighting, a ceasefire was reached with the mediation of the Soviet Union and the United States. India and Pakistan signed the Tashkent Agreement in January 1966, ending the war. By 1971, political and ethnic tensions in East Pakistan had reached a critical level. Although Bengalis made up the majority of Pakistan's population, political power remained concentrated in West Pakistan. Growing demands for autonomy, and later independence, led to a sharp deterioration of the situation. On March 25, 1971, the Pakistani military launched Operation Searchlight, aimed at regaining control over East Pakistan. The operation involved widespread use of force against the civilian population. Estimates of casualties vary, but it is believed that between 300,000 and 3 million people may have died. Around 10 million refugees crossed into India, creating a large-scale humanitarian crisis. India, already strained in its relations with Pakistan, saw the refugee influx and internal conflict as a threat to regional stability. Indian authorities began supporting the Bengali independence movement and its armed wing, the Mukti Bahini. On December 3rd, Pakistan launched Operation Chengiz Khan, a preemptive airstrike on Indian air bases. India responded by formally declaring war. The conflict that followed lasted 13 days. Indian forces, in coordination with Mukti Bahini units, advanced into East Pakistan from multiple directions. In the west, fighting also broke out along the India-Pakistan border. On December 16, 1971, over 90,000 Pakistani troops surrendered in Dhaka. It was one of the largest military surrenders since World War II. Soon after, a new country, Bangladesh, was officially established. The Siachen Glacier lies high in the Himalayas, at altitudes above 5,000 meters. But in the 1980s, it became a new front in the India-Pakistan conflict. The dispute began due to an ambiguous section of the line of control, which did not clearly extend into the glacier area. Both sides interpreted the map differently. In 1984, India launched Operation Meghdoot, sending troops to occupy the key mountain passes and ridgelines before Pakistan could. Pakistan responded with its own deployments, and clashes began at high altitude. Over the next 2 decades, both sides maintained a military presence on the glacier, facing not only each other, but also avalanches, frostbite, and extreme cold. In 2003, a ceasefire was agreed, but Siachen remains militarized to this day. In 1999, just a year after both India and Pakistan tested nuclear weapons, tensions flared again. This time in the Kargil region of Indian-administered Kashmir. Pakistani soldiers and militants crossed the line of control and secretly occupied high-altitude positions on the Indian side. Their goal was to cut off Indian supply lines and force a withdrawal from the Siachen Glacier area. India responded with a large-scale military operation known as Operation Vijay. The conflict lasted for about 2 months, with heavy casualties on both sides. Under international pressure, Pakistan was forced to withdraw. The Kargil War was the first direct conflict between 2 nuclear-armed nations. In 2025, another military clash broke out between India and Pakistan, reminding the world that this long-standing conflict is far from over. If this video reaches 1,000 likes, I'll make a dedicated episode covering the 2025 crisis in detail. Stay tuned.